Hello, am I audible to everyone? Hi everyone, I'm really happy to have you all here today. Before we start today's session, I just want to get to know you a little better so this feels more like a comfortable learning space rather than a formal class. So let's start very simple. Where is everyone joining from today? Please do let me know. Is my voice clear?
دكتورة أسماء from Egypt.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, I'm a bit curious. If you had to describe your MR journey so far in just one word, what would it be? Did you find it difficult?
Medium, not difficult or not easy.
Well, that's great to know that.
Average, yes.
So, realistically, how many hours do you plan to study versus how many you actually study?
I study 8 branches, beginning at February,
Okay.
and I am going to join to examine at June, inshallah.
Inshallah. So, which area did you find the most difficult one? Any particular areas?
The most difficult was f- immunology and genetics.
Okay.
Because it isn't applicable in the practice so a lot like pharma and pathology it is applicable and statics.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely makes sense.
uh,
I can understand from where you are coming from. So, yeah, I totally agree. We cannot apply that knowledge into our clinical practice. So, sometimes it get difficult for us to comprehend these subjects like genetics, immunology, and biostats. So that's absolutely makes sense to me. Okay, so in today's session, what we are going to do, first of all, I will guide you through how you can book your MRCG1 exam. And in the second half of this session, we will discuss about on how the hormones are being regulated during menstrual cycle, which is one of the most high yield topic in your curriculum. So here I have the exam calendar, and if you can see here, booking window application opens on 21st of April 2026, which is by tomorrow. So the deadline is very close. And how many of you are already prepared regarding your booking? Okay, let me clear my question. I'm asking about your exam booking. Like, do you already have any idea like how you're going to book the exam? And have you already saved your money for your exam booking? And have you already had your card for the payment? Are you aware of these things? Okay, so I can see that a lot of you are really confused, but don't worry. I'm here. Today, I'm here to guide you through how you can book your exam in the easiest way, and I will try my best to simplify the process. Dr. Heyman, I will, regarding card, I will tell you in a while. So first thing first, since the booking is going to be open tomorrow, the first thing you need to keep in your mind is that don't delay your exam booking because the slots are really limited. So try to book your exam as early as possible. Then regarding the exam fee, you need to check, first of all, you need to check your country, in which band your country lies. There's a whole list on the RCOG website in which they have given the list like which country falls under band A, B, or C. So according to the bands, the fees are a bit different. If I talk about, let's take the example of India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. These countries lies in band B. So the students who are writing exam in such countries which lies in band B, their fee would be £601. That means you should at least have this amount in your account for your transaction. Another important thing, if you are making your payment through your local bank, then there would be additional taxes for your booking. So at least you should have an extra amount in your account so that your transaction at that very time do not decline. So let's see how we can book the exam. What usually happens the day the exam booking is open or the day before the exam booking open, you will receive an email from the RCOG. And the students who have the eligibility done, who have submitted the expression of interest, those are the students who are going to have this email. If you are cleared about these two steps, then definitely you are going to have this email by the RCOG. In this email, I will show you the email in a while. Uh, in this email, you can easily see how they would provide you a link in which they have written that candidate exam portal. And that candidate exam portal is the next step you need to follow through. You need to click on that link, and once you click that option, the next window would be open. Dr. Maha, that's absolutely normal. There is nothing wrong with that. If you ask your any family member or a friend out there in the UK, they can definitely pay on your behalf. Okay, so once you follow the link to the portal and once that window opens, you need to create a new password which is specifically for this platform. So now some students think that they try to use that password which they previously used while making RCOG account, which you must be all of you must be made that account while applying for the eligibility. That is a very initial step that you had to create an account on RCOG website. But this password is different from that password. Yes, Dr. Elise, you can choose the center where you are living at the moment. but definitely your fee would be according whatever the information you have added in your eligibility profile. And yes, it also depends in which area you are selecting your exam center. So your fee would be according to that. Okay, don't worry. I will show you the slides regarding the password. So this is how your email would be looked like. Uh, Here you can see they have provided a link of RCOG candidate exam portal. So I would be very slow throughout the process. I will try my best to match your pace. So again, first step is you will going to have an email from RCOG, and this is your email. On this email, you need to go and click on this RCOG candidate exam portal. And once you click on that, you will see this window on your screen. Is everyone clear till now? Okay, once you have this window in front of you, here you need to enter your email address, which is the same email address you used for your RCG account. But now the password would be different. Since you are appearing for this exam for the very first time, you don't have this password. So what you are going to do, you need to click here to set a new password. Those who are writing this exam for the second time, they already had that password. They can reset their password or simply can enter their password here, or otherwise they have the option of reset. But those who are going to write this exam, book this exam for the very first time, they need to go here. Just you need to do to click here, then automatically you will get another window in your screen. So what error most of the candidates do at this step, they try to enter the password which they used for their RCOG account. What consequences you may face by doing this step? You will waste your time. Your system got stuck, and maybe since at that very time all of the candidates they are trying to book the exam, so every second matters. So you can, if you're stuck here, unfortunately, if all the slots got booked, you can miss your chance. So that's why try to compose yourself. Don't panic. Uh, I'm repeating this again. Since if you are booking for this exam for the very first time, you just need to enter your email address or and then click here so that a new password can be sent to your email. Is everyone clear? So after clicking here to set a password, you will be taken to the next page. Input your email address and click on the reset password button. Ensure that you use the same email address that you have registered on the RCOG website. If you haven't received the email to reset your password, please check your spam folder as it may have been filtered there. So this is how the next window would look like. You just need to enter your same email address and click on reset password, and then you will receive an email. And once you receive an email, now you will automatically redirect it to this page. Now here, this is the point you need to enter your password and then confirm your password. So click the link provided in the email to access the page for setting your password. Your password should be a minimum of 6 character long and include at least one punctuation character and one number. So in order to save your time, you can already write your password, which be at least of 6 characters long and at least one punctuation character and one number. You can note it down somewhere on any paper, and while booking your exam, keep that paper beside you so that you at this very step you just not wandering around like what password I should enter. So once you confirm your password, you set your password, now you are successfully logged into your exam portal. And this is how your dashboard would look like. Is everyone following me so far? Okay, once you reach to this step, things are pretty clear now. All you need to do on your dashboard, here on the left corner, you can see exam booking option. Once you see that option, you need to click on that, or you can choose this option, book your exam with Pearson. And once you click exam booking or book your exam with Pearson, they had already your pre-approved exam, which is your MRCOG Part 1 exam. And how it is pre-approved, because you have already your eligibility done, and you have successfully submitted the expression of interest, so automatically they had approved your exam. So here, once you see that, now you need to click on that. And once you click on that, there would be another window would be in front of you regarding terms and conditions. If you have plenty of time, you can go through from them. Otherwise, if you want to save your time, you just simply go and accept all the terms and conditions, and then move forward. Okay, once you move forward, automatically the next page would look like this. And now this is the point where you are going to select your exam center. One According to your location, which you have already mentioned on your eligibility form, this website would automatically suggest you 3 centers nearest to your area. For example, if I'm from Lahore, so automatically when I reach to this step, the nearest test centers in Lahore, they would be on the topmost blocks. If you don't want to follow these suggestions, then you also have an option of search here on the top of the slide. If you want to book your exam somewhere else, then you can simply type here and look for your nearest options. So the center displayed will be based on the address you provide in the eligibility form. If needed, you can also update your address by accessing your profile setting. So you do have this option. Um, However, you can simply search over here. So let me recap how you're going to select your exam center. So after selecting a center, available dates and time should appear. Let me show you how exactly. If you can see this slide, for example, I have clicked this exam center. Once I click on that, here down below, I will see a calendar according to the time and date of the exam. So it depends on the center. On the Pearson Center, some may offer 3 slots in a day, some may offer just 1 slot a day, and some might give 2 slots a day. So it depends on the Pearson Center. So whatever time suits you the most, you can simply choose that. If after selecting a center, available dates and time should appear. If no appointments are shown, it indicates that your chosen test center is fully booked or unavailable. RCG does not have exclusive access to Pearson. Other exams may be scheduled simultaneously, limiting available slots. Because in Pearson centers, if you, by any chance, if you have given any international exam at Pearson Center, if you have witnessed that, you must be aware of this thing that they, at the same time, they have multiple exams. They could be maybe MRCP exam could be there on the same day. They could be MSR exam. So they could be any other exams which are running parallel to your exam, according to your exam. So that's why it depends on one center to the other center that how many number of slots are there and what timings are there. If your chosen center has no availability and you have selected only one center, use the previous button. So don't panic. If you have, for example, let me take the example of Lahore, that I picked Lahore and here they are showing no appointments. So rather than wasting my chance, what I can do, I can maybe select another city, which is maybe nearest to me, or I will try to check that is there any slot available in that center or not. So you still have options. Just while booking your exam, just don't get panic. If you have selected multiple centers, you can easily switch between them to check availability. Click on the dot next to each center to view its availability. If your chosen test center still has availability, click on the desired date, then select your preferred time slot. So this is how the date calendar and the time calendar would come to your screen. For example, if I clicked on center number 1, then right after selecting this, I can see the calendar, and below I can see the timings. And according to the availability, I can, or my convenience, I can choose my slot. And once you choose your slot, your final step would be there, which is your exam fee payment. Is everyone with me so far? Okay, so now regarding card details, make sure you already check with your bank that is your account or your card is valid for international transactions or not. It varies from bank to bank, so you need to check with your bank before your exam booking. Or you may check your mobile app of your account, and you can see that the international transaction option there. No, there is just one date for this exam. So the payment can be done through Visa card or MasterCard. Both are the options, but still, for Visa card, you need to check with your bank that is your international transactions are valid or not. In order to avoid any errors or to waste your time, make sure card is already there with you. Everyone, please turn off your mic. Thank you so much. Okay, make sure you enter the right card number, the correct dates of expiry, all the details which are relevant for your card. Make sure you enter them correctly so that you don't waste your time. And once you enter your card details, your transaction would be completed. And once your transaction would be completed, you will receive an email by RCOG regarding the exam booking confirmation. So this is how step by step you're going to book your exam. If anyone have any confusion regarding any step, you please let me know. No questions? Yes, Dr. Lise, your band is B.
Hola. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Elise, everyone please turn off your mic. Thank you so much. For bending, you need to check RCG website. Okay, let me check whose mic is on. Okay, Dr. Elise, you need to check the RCG website. I think the Muscat also comes under Band B category, but you can go to the website and check your banding there. okay, then you need to pay according to the band A. Okay, I will ask the backend team to share the banding PDF in the group so that you can easily check from there. Otherwise, there's an option to go on the RCOG website. You can easily find your banding there. So let me share some booking tips. Uh, be prepared, have all the necessary information and documents ready, including your ID and payment details. You can set the reminder. You can use phone or calendar reminders for the booking date and time. Then try to check your email regularly and do check your spam folder. Try to log in early because sometimes the website collapses due to multiple logins at the same time. The system really goes down. So in order to if you don't want to take any risk, you may log in early. Okay, while booking your exam, before that, try to have some backup options. No, you maybe take help from some of your friend or colleagues that you are going to book your exam. So make sure to have a backup of their card as well. Then double check your details. Stay calm. No, Dr. Ayman, if you are appearing in Pakistan, then you have to pay according to the band B. It doesn't matter if the payment is from the UK bank account. It really doesn't matter. Okay, while booking your exam, try to stay calm and composed. Don't panic. During my time when I was booking the exam, so things were that was the very first time they introduced this way of booking the exam. Before that, the things were very simple and very easy. Like you just simply go to the website and purchase your slot there. So the things were previously very easy. But during that time, they just newly launched this process of booking the exam with Pearson. So I was really, really panicked and I did so many mistakes. Even I was using my old password, which I use for the RCJ account because I wasn't familiar with password reset setting. So that wasted a lot of my time. Even I booked my exam after 5 hours of booking window opens. So that really wasted my time, and there was a lot of anxiety and stress during those 5 hours waiting time. So if you panic, then you are going to make, there are chances that you make more mistakes. So try to stay calm. Uh, then, um, then if you are working, then you can take time off from your work so that you have a very calm and composed and distraction-free environment while you are booking your exam. Set your clock to the UK time so that you can follow the timings for the booking easily. Ensure you have a high-speed internet, minimize your device use, have a backup internet plan, and you may set alarm for your booking. Dr. Isha, first mistake from my experience is the mostly candidates confuse with the password thing. They just try to use that password they already had with their RCOG account. However, for this exam booking, since you are booking the exam with Pearson, you have a separate student exam portal. So that's why you need to use you need to use a new password. You need to reset the password initially. And once you log in, then everything is really smooth and straightforward. So don't use the same password for the exam portal. Keep this thing in your mind. If you forget your password, don't clicking that like crazy. It won't magically remember it for you. Have a chat with your bank before booking if your account can't handle international transaction. And also not just the international transaction, you need to check what is the limit of your card. Because as far as I know, there is a limit for every bank account. Like it depends on your transaction history or whatever the amount you had in the previous records in your bank. But usually I think some bank accounts have limit of 2,50,000, maybe 5 lakh. So that also you need to make sure is your account is able to do a transaction of 6 or 1 pounds, and not just if you are paying from your local bank, then you also need to consider the additional taxes. So your account limit should be more than that. Is that clear? Double check those bank details early on and save a backup copy in your Word file. And if your website is acting up, take a deep breath, refresh, and keep trying. Patience is the key. Another reassuring point is that if your website is not working, most of the time it is the same case with everyone. If you are facing any website throwing issues, if the by any chance if the website got crashed, that is the case with everyone. So just try to relax and have some patience. Don't panic. Don't assume slot availability. Always have backups. For instance, if you are preferring Lahore, but please before that have some backup option. Like by any chance, if you didn't able to book a slot in Lahore, then what would be your second option? So please have in your mind like where you can travel and in how many centers you can give your exam. Previously, there were just two. If I talk about Pakistan, as per my experience, initially there were just two centers, one in Karachi and one in Lahore. But luckily, with time, since we have a lot of peers in center, now in every big cities they conduct this exam. So that's why try to have some options in your mind. What about Bangladesh? Like, are you asking about the exam centers? Yes, in Bangladesh, there would be multiple. So conclusion is following these steps ensures hassle-free booking. Stay updated with the RCG emails and best of luck for your exam part 1 booking. So are we clear about how we are going to book the exam? Okay, that's perfect. Now let's move on to the academic part of today's session. And I'm going to teach you how we can understand hormonal regulation during menstrual cycle. And for this topic, if you understand hormones, you don't need to memorize the cycle. You can simply predict it, and you can simply predict any answer if you exactly know at which phase which hormones are working and how they are working and for what are the purpose of those hormones. Then you can easily solve any question which comes from this topic. So a little introduction. What is menstruation? It occurs on a monthly cycle throughout female reproductive life. What is menarche? It is the first menstrual cycle, normally occurs between the age of 11 and 15. And what is menopause? When a female stops having periods, stop having menstruation between the age of 45 and 55. So the normal duration of menstrual cycle is 21 to 35 days. This is the range and it depends on the person to person. Some might have 21-day cycle, some might have 28-day cycle and some might have 35-day cycle. And whenever I have repeated this so many times that whenever you are studying hormones, endocrinology, always start from hypothalamus, then pituitary, and then end organ, whatever the hormone you are studying, whatever the gland is related, but always follow the sequence of the axis from the upper centers to the lower. For this topic, we are classically focusing on hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis or hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. So let's see how the things are working. And yes, we are going to start from hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, interior pituitary glands, and ovaries, they work together to regulate the menstrual cycle. Now the next thing is how the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary they are affecting ovaries and how they are working together. What is this axis is all about? So first of all, if we look at the hypothalamus releases gonadotropin releasing hormone. This gonadotropin releasing hormone then stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to produce luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. These two hormones, they are gonadotropins that act primarily on the ovaries in the female reproductive tract. So this is just a summary of hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. Now we have mentioned about two hormones from anterior pituitary, which is luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So where exactly they are working on ovaries? So follicle stimulating hormone binds to the granulosa cell of the ovary to stimulate follicle growth, permit the conversion of androgens to estrogens, and stimulate inhibit excretion. Luteinizing hormone acts on theca cells to stimulate the production and excretion of androgens. So, okay, in endocrinology, first thing we need to know what is the heart center axis. Then we know what are the hormones. Then in endocrinology, there is another very important concept of feedback mechanisms because if there are two types of mechanisms, one is positive feedback mechanism and the other one is the negative feedback mechanism. And these mechanisms are there to regulate the hormones. So whenever you are studying any topic of endocrinology, you need to understand this sequence. Like you need to know what are the hormones which are coming from the higher centers, what is the definitive hormone, where it is going to act. Then once the action, the physiological action is done, how those hormones are going to be balanced in the body. So that there is no unnecessary accumulation in the of any hormone in the body. So this is how the body tracks itself, tracks the level of the hormone, so that nothing goes out of limit. So we have such feedback mechanism at the level of ovary as well. So how these hormones are being regulated? If during menstrual cycle, what is the effect of moderate estrogen level exerts a negative feedback on the hypothalamic pituitary axis. High estrogen level in the absence of progesterone imposes a positive feedback mechanism on the hypothalamic pituitary axis. Is everyone clear? What is negative feedback mechanism and what is positive feedback mechanism? Do you know the difference? Okay, so we are talking about the estrogen level. Moderate estrogen exerts a negative feedback. High estrogen causes a positive feedback. And then if the estrogen is present along with progesterone, it also exerts a negative feedback on the hypothalamic pituitary axis. Yes, Dr. Eman, that is correct. Then we have another hormone, inhibin, which selectively inhibits follicle stimulating hormone at the anterior pituitary gland. And here in this algorithm, you can see how gonadotropin releasing hormone is coming from the hypothalamus, which acts on the anterior pituitary. As a result of that, we have luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which are then going to act on ovaries. More particularly, FSH would bind to granulosa cells to stimulate the follicle growth, and luteinizing hormone acts on the theca cells to stimulate the production of and secretion of androgens. Okay, when we talk about menstrual cycle, we classically have two cycles going parallel. One is the ovarian cycle, which is classically. Dr. Nidar, could you please turn off your mic? Thank you so much. Okay, during menstrual cycle, we have two cycles which are going parallel. One is ovarian cycle, which are the changes which are going on in the ovaries. Then at the same time, we have endometrial cycle, which are the changes which are happening in the uterus under the influence of those hormones which are coming from the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. So we will see how these two cycles are balancing each other. Okay, for this topic, what I usually do, I had a table in which, first of all, we will only focus on the hormones, like in which phase of the menstrual cycle, which hormone is there, and in the second phase, which hormones are there. Once we understand them logically, then we can easily understand all the stages of the menstrual cycle. Because in this topic, the main thing is to know what hormone is there at what level in the first half of the cycle and what hormones are there during the second half of the cycle. So before we go through from these slides, I will go to this table. We will try to understand this table, then we will go on those previous slides. So let's think logically. During the first half of cycle, right now I'm talking about the ovarian cycle. In ovarian cycle, during the first half, what things should be there? We all know what is the purpose of folliculogenesis is the formation of a secondary oocyte or egg in the female. So the first half of the cycle, we call this as a follicular phase, and the second half of the cycle, we call it as a luteal phase. So let's focus on follicular phase first. In follicular phase, as its name indicates, it has, since the word follicular they use, that means it has to do something with the follicles. So it is classically during the first half of the cycle, folliculogenesis is going on, in which multiple follicles they participate, and under the hormonal influence, around day 14, the ovulation ultimately happens. So let's start from the higher centers. So please answer my question. If we want to have folliculogenesis, if we start from the hypothalamic pituitary axis, what thing we need first? Please write in the chat box which hormone should be there if we want to have folliculogenesis. Yes, so the very first hormone we need from the hypothalamus is gonadotropin releasing hormone. So in other words, we can say in the follicular phase, in the first half of the cycle, gonadotropin releasing hormone would be increased. So if we check the hormonal profile during the first half of the cycle, we can see an increased amount of gonadotropin releasing hormone. In contrary to that, if we look at the luteal phase, do you think that, and we all know that ovulation happens at the day 14 of the menstrual cycle. In the luteal phase, do you think that we still need folliculogenesis? Okay. Okay, so according to our concept, after ovulation, there is no need of folliculogenesis. So if there is no follicular genesis in luteinizing in the second phase, so do you think we need luteinizing hormone and FSH hormone? So the major difference of the hormones, if we talk about, if we start from the higher center, during the first half in the follicular phase, yes, we need FSH, we need follicular genesis, we need gonadotropin releasing hormone. So during the first half of the cycle, if you see any graph in your exam, if they have provided you with a picture and they ask you which in the graph identify which hormone is this. So if you know these levels, you can easily pick the right answer. So during follicular phase, gonadotropin releasing hormone would be increased. In the luteal phase, we don't need follicular genesis, so does we don't need gonadotropin releasing hormone. So that would be decreased in luteal phase. Moving next towards the anterior pituitary. From anterior pituitary, yes, FSH and LH, they should be increased in follicular phase because they are responsible for, FSH is responsible for follicular genesis, and luteinizing hormone, we need that for ovulation, for LH surge and ovulation. But in the luteal phase, as the ovulation has already been occurred, so we don't need LH, we don't need FSH, so they would move downward. So if you look at, if you find any graph and you see a sloping line in the second half of the cycle, so you know which hormones are going down during the second half of the cycle. Now, let's talk about the ovarian hormones here. We have estrogen. So during the first half of the cycle, estrogen is very, very important because due to the positive feedback effect of estrogen, LH surge happens and ultimately ovulation happens. So that would be increased. But in luteal phase, estrogen starts dropping. Now the major hormone which is prominent in luteal phase is progesterone and also inhibin. It also increases because it has to send a negative feedback effect on hypothalamus. So if you remember this table, you can solve any question from menstrual cycle. If anyone have any question regarding the understanding of these hormones, do let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So now let's summarize the topic of ovarian cycle. Follicular phase classically from day 0 to 14, the first half of cycle. What happens in follicular phase, how it begins. We are clear about the hormones now. Now we will see what are the changes are going on. So a primordial follicle develops to a Graafian stage with atresia of the neighboring follicles. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone receptors are upregulated in theca and granulosa cells. Estradiol, which is the major is type of estrogen during reproductive life, levels increases and cause proliferation of the uterus. So not just the ovarian cycle is going on, this estrogen also influence the uterus, and parallel with that, there's an endometrial cycle which is going on. I will, in a while, I will show you the slide. What are the changes which are going on in the uterine cycle? Follicle and FSH and LH levels are suppressed by the negative feedback effect of estradiol on the anterior pituitary. And progesterone levels are low during the follicular phase. Okay, so around the day 14, ovulation occurs on the day 14 before menses, regardless of the cycle length. Thus, in a 28-day cycle, ovulation occurs on the day 14, and in a 35-day cycle, ovulation occurs on day 21. And sometimes you will get a question in your exam in which they ask you, they might give you a patient or a person, a female, who is having 35-day cycle, and they ask you what day of ovulation she might had. So in that case, you should be knowing that in a 35-day cycle, ovulation occurs on day 21, And if a female is having 28-day cycle, ovulation occurs on day 14. Um, a burst of estradiol synthesis at the end of the follicular phase has a positive feedback effect on the secretion of FSH and causes LH surge. There are 2-3 questions which moves around ovulation, luteinizing hormone, LH surge. So you should be clear about these things. You should be knowing what are the difference between LH surge, LH peak, and how ovulation happens. So LH surge 24. Okay, are you following me so far? Like how LH surge happens? LH surge happens, which is a massively increased amount of luteinizing hormone, which happens due to the positive feedback effect on the estrogen. And this surge happens 24 to 36 hours before ovulation. The half-life of luteinizing hormone is 20 to 30 minutes. Ovulation occurs as a result of estrogen-induced LH surge. This is a very high yield point. Estrogen levels decrease just after ovulation but rise again during the luteal phase. Cervical mucus increase in quantity, it becomes less viscous and more penetrable by the sperm. Okay, this is the line. If by any chance, if you encounter a question in which they are asking about how the oocyte rupture, so the mechanism behind is that yes, we know estrogen positive feedback effect is there. As a result of that, LH surge happens, and then ultimately on the day 14, ovulation occurs. How it occurs? There is increased cyclic AMP resulting in prostaglandin F2, and this causes contraction of theca externa smooth muscle cells, resulting in rupture of the mature oocyte. And once there is a rupture of mature oocyte, there is a fimbrial movement of the fallopian tube, which captures the oocyte and taken up into the fallopian tube. And there, at the level of ampulla, the mature oocyte waits wait for at least 24 to 48 hours for the sperm. If fertilization happens, the story would be different. If fertilization doesn't happen, then ultimately the cycle moves towards the luteal phase. So what happens in the luteal phase, which is the second half of the cycle? Corpus luteum begins to develop and synthesize estrogen and progesterone. So it is another question in the recalls that what is the origin of progesterone hormone? So many students, although it's a very simple question, but they somehow they end up with the option of ovaries. However, generally these hormones are produced by the ovaries, but more specifically, if they are asking about progesterone, the answer would be corpus luteum. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, at the same time, what is going on inside the uterus, that vascularity and excretory activity of endometrium increases to prepare for receipt of a fertilized egg. Basal body temperature increases because of the effect of progesterone on the hypothalamic thermoregulatory center. If fertilization does not occur, the corpus luteum regress at the end of the luteal phase. What is the lifespan of the corpus luteum is 14 to 16 days. As a result, estradiol and progesterone levels decreases abruptly. And due to this sudden withdrawal of estrogen and progesterone, menstruation begins. So here in this graph, you can see in the follicular phase, again, we need FSH, we need LH, and how they are coming? They are coming from the effect of gonadotropin releasing hormone from hypothalamus, which affects anterior pituitary to produce FSH and LH. So you can see that in the first half of the cycle, these hormones are more, but in the second half cycle, you can see the sloping graph. That means there is no FSH LH in the luteal phase. And here you can see in the graph, we have estrogen more than progesterone. Here at this before day 14, before the day of ovulation, we can see estrogen level goes up due to the positive feedback effect, which causes LH surge. You can see here, this is the peak of luteinizing hormone. This is LH surge. And then you can see how it is dropping in the luteal phase, and here you can see the rising line for the progesterone hormone. So if you understand these hormones logically, then you can solve these graph questions easily. So a key point, a difference between onset of LH surge, peak of LH surge, and ovulation. So there are three keywords in your exam. There could be a question in which they ask you about the onset of LH surge. The question could be like that, like how many hours after the onset of LH surge ovulation happens. So the answer is, if you can see here we can see the onset of a LH surge. That means here is the point when a luteinizing hormone is going to be high. And after 36 hours, you can see in total, we can have ovulation. So the answer from the onset to ovulation is 36 hours. But if in the exam they change the keyword and rather writing onset of LH surge, they ask you the peak of LH surge, like after the peak of LH surge, how many hours or after how much time the ovulation happens. So now the answer would be different. It is 10 to 12 hours. So here you can see the breakdown of the onset of LH surge and ovulation. Between them, yes, total we have 36 hours. But more specifically, if we look at peak after peak of LH surge, we have 10 to 12 hours. Is everyone clear? Is everyone clear about the difference between onset of LH surge and peak of LH surge? Because both means different, and your answer would be based on these keywords. So let's have a look on endometrial cycle. As we have divided the ovarian cycle into follicular phase and luteal phase, when we talk about the uterine cycle, yes, during the follicular phase, yes, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and estrogen, they are high.
Is
Okay,
it normal, ma'am?
yes, these are the physiological ranges for these hormones. They should be there so that they perform their physiological activity. They could lead the folliculogenesis. If these hormones are not there, then ultimately there would be no ovulation, no folliculogenesis. And there are many examples for the if these hormones are not balanced enough. For example, if we take the example of PCOS or PCOD, in which we can see that there is hormonal disturbance. The patient the cycle is totally disturbed. So ultimately, there would be irregular ovulation, maybe anovulation, or which ultimately lead to infertility. So these hormones should be there.
But ma'am, LH and FSH hormones should be on baseline during follicular phase.
Uh, what is your understanding of baseline? These
Baseline like starting phase like should be less.
Okay, I actually didn't get your question. However, let me try to answer your question somehow. Basically, these hormones should be increased in amount during follicular phase. If they are not enough, they would ultimately do not produce enough estrogen by the ovaries. So they should be increased. Here you can see we have a high level of estrogen. We need estrogen, a female body, not just for ovulation. It also helps to maintain the secondary sexual organ health. They are important for pubertal changes. And another consequence of that, if we are saying that we have no FSH, we have no LH or low hormone level, or if we have low estrogen profile, then you can see the consequences the woman faces during the perimenopausal or menopausal phase. So these hormones are normally they are in the physiological ranges. These changes are absolutely normal. The LH surge, which is an massive amount of luteinizing hormone, that is physiological. That should be there. If that is not there, ultimately there would be no ovulation.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, in proliferative phase, which is parallel to the follicular phase of the ovarian cycle, what happens? What is the purpose of proliferative phase? It prepares the reproductive tract for fertilization and implantation. What is the major hormone which classically acts on the uterus is estrogen, which initiates fallopian tube formation, thickening of the endometrium, increased growth and motility of the myometrium, and produce a thin alkaline cervical mucus to facilitate sperm transport. When the in the ovaries, when the luteal phase arrives, during the luteal phase in the uterus there is secretory phase. It is synonymous with the luteal phase of the ovarian cycle. And what are the changes here? Now we know in the first half of the cycle what hormones we have. We have GnRH, we have FSH, LH, estrogen. In the second half of the cycle, we know all of these hormones drops, and the major hormone in the luteal phase is progesterone. So now let's see what is the effect of progesterone on the uterus. So progesterone, when it arrives through the uterus, it stimulates further thickening of the endometrium into a glandular secretory form, thickening of the myometrium, reduction of the motility of the myometrium, thick acidic cervical mucus production, which is a hostile environment to prevent polyspermy, changes in the mammary tissue, and other metabolic changes. So, in one word, you should be knowing what are the changes going during the proliferative phase, so that by any chance, if you get a question, you are able to identify on the basis of these uterine changes that is this in proliferative phase or is it in secretory phase. So the effects of estrogen on uterus, you need to know them, and the effect of progesterone on the uterus, you should be clear about that. Okay, now I have a question. Which of the following represents the correct order of event during the menstrual cycle? You have 60 seconds to answer this question. Excellent, very well done. The correct answer is T. For those who go with the option A, may I ask your explanation? Why did you choose option A first? Okay, if we can see here. Okay. That's why I repeat this so many times. Always take your time, read the question carefully, read all the options carefully. Because if you can see here, ovulation, according to this statement, ovulation happens before LH surge, which is absolutely opposite. So the correct sequence is menstruation, FSH rise, then LH surge. After LH surge, there is ovulation, and once ovulation is done, then is the luteal phase. So the correct answer is D. Okay, one thing I want to clear here. As you can see here, we have kept on talking about FSH and LH, but if we focus on this graph, we can see that initially FSH is more, and that is required for follicular genesis, right? This is a very important hormone. But you can see that with time, with passing days, you can see that luteinizing hormone is more than FSH. However, if we look at the hypothalamic pituitary axis, an equal amount of gonadotropin releasing hormone is producing, which is affecting equally on FSH LH levels. But still, as a result of that, we have less FSH as compared to luteinizing hormone. Why is that so? Anyone knows the reason why FSH is lower than luteinizing hormone? Yes, that's excellent. But negative feedback effect of which hormone or through which hormone? No, it's not the negative feedback effect of luteinizing hormone. These are FSH and luteinizing, they are the sibling hormones, so they are okay with each other. Yes, the culprit is estrogen. Yes, excellent. Basically, estrogen has some problem with FSH. So as the estrogen level goes up, it has a suppressive effect on FSH. So that's why, although in gonadotropin releasing hormone is not affected, it is affecting equally on anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary is producing FSH and LH, but with estrogen, it has an inhibitory effect on FSH. So that's why FSH usually remains, yes, on a higher side, but at the lower limit as compared to luteinizing hormone. So that's the reason behind this graph of FSH and LH. However, it is you can see that how to identify this luteinizing hormone graph is very easy to identify. If you are seeing any peak, surge, and they have put a question mark here, it is very easy to identify that they are asking about luteinizing hormone. So this was all about menstrual cycle. For any technical support or course registration, you might contact on these details. You can contact us on WhatsApp, Facebook, or by email. Thank you so much for being with me so far. I hope I made the exam booking process easier for you, and I tried my best to help you to understand how the hormones are being regulated during menstrual cycle. Welcome, and very best of luck for your exam booking. I hope you all may be able to book your exam. Goodbye.